Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube. Today we are going to be checking out Nervos Networks, CKB. But before we do, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. This is where I'm dropping news charts, updates, information, things I find interesting, and time-sensitive news. So if you want to know what I'm into at the moment, hit me up on Twitter. Back to CKB, my favorite of all time. I've been talking now for months how much this structure in here looks like this structure in here. We can see that there was a nice cup and handle formation that happened, or even inverse head and shoulders formation that happened here. But furthermore, bear with me, we can see that there was a little cup and handle formation that happened here. And you could almost argue that there was an inverse head and shoulders here. And we got the neckline. So in both cases, price action looks very similar to one another. And I do think that we are getting ready to really see this staircase climb of price action. We can see that once we got this golden cross, it was really off to the races from there. So we've got the golden cross, we're off to the races. We can see that on this daily chart, CKB is performing very well. Now, I think that we are getting a little bit of a bounce, possibly off the shoulder of this Ichimoku cloud on the daily chart. So this is a good thing to see. Now, I do think that price is likely to head even higher from here, and we may be getting ready to see a retest of the all-time highs rather soon. All-time highs were at about 4.5 cents, so we just need to get right up to that point, and it is really game on for CKB. So there's a few things that we can do to kind of measure where price action is, and I like to use Fibonacci as a guide. So we can see that within this channel, CKB is really fighting with the 236 channel and trying to get out of it. So we are trying to erupt into the 382% channel here. We just need to get through this Fibonacci channel line. Now, with that said, we might encounter a little bit of turbulence in the 50% channel. This is a very powerful channel along with the 61.8 channel here. So these two channels are going to be huge. Now, with that said, I do think that there are probably two outcomes that will happen, is that we will see price action meet previous all-time highs, either somewhere at this 50% level here, or somewhere in this this ascending triangle that could form as well. So I'm hoping that we just see price action just kind of continue to come up and maybe hit these all-time highs right at the 50% level. And if we do fail and fail to continue going upwards, we can then rely on a Fibonacci sliver by default to continue our upward descent. So this is going to last probably another month before we can start seeing this thing possibly top out. So we can see this last run that we had, it went from about January 14th to March, April 2nd. So these runs just do not happen overnight. Sometimes we get an incredible amount of liquidity that just gets dumped into the cryptocurrency. And if this fails to hit new all-time highs, we will then rely on something like this, and we might get a Fibonacci sliver by default on a grander scale to shoot higher, as long as we can continue to trade within this Fibonacci channel. So we are kind of at a tipping point with that said. And one other thing that I like to do is throw up just a little bit of good old Fibonacci extensions to see what it is we are fighting with. So if we go off of this, we can see that price action. Bear with me. I'm just going to bring this in a little bit closer. Looks good. Let's go down to like a 4-hour chart. And we can see that right now on this 4-hour chart, price action is above the 61.8. This is huge. So I think that the next levels of support and resistance to look out for are this 0.0355-ish area. And if we can pass that, it's off to retest all-time highs. That's it. This is the last barrier, is the 786. And then we are off to test all-time highs. It seems crazy, but we're probably thinking, okay, well, how high can this thing go? Well, the 786 is a very popular retracement and reversal point. So if that happens around the 0.0355-ish area, don't be surprised. But I do think that when we are on a roll like this, the 127, the 161.8, the golden ratio, the 200% level, 8 cents. So I do think that there are some possible good things on the horizon. One other thing that we have to also remember is that Yokai Swap is about to launch. And this is going to be huge, especially once Nervous Networks starts connecting to a lot of these other chains and cryptocurrencies. We are going to see money flowing in and out of Nervous Network like crazy. So this is a good point in time to really be invested in Nervous Network, in my opinion. Not financial or trading advice, but it is what it is, right? The lows are still getting higher. And so this is a wonderful thing. And I do hope that we see this test of 0.0355 this weekend. Over the next couple days, everything is looking good. On the daily chart, I wanted to point something out that's very crucial. You guys have to understand how crucial this is. So one other thing that I wanted to show you guys was the RSI. And I'm always kind of looking for patterns in the RSI as well as on the chart. So with that said, does anybody notice any patterns that are forming right now on the RSI? We can see that if we just draw a little horizontal line here, come over, grab a trend line, we can see that there is potentially, and I say potentially, an ascending triangle that is forming within the RSI. And we can kind of see previous instances of this. We can kind of say that, okay, the lows got higher, and then we just saw this blow-off top happen. We can kind of see here, the lows kept getting higher, and you could argue that maybe there isn't a good example of an ascending triangle in here because there's really not. You can kind of see, though, what happens when these lows get higher like what we're seeing now. There is going to be an increased amount of volatility that pushes price upwards, I think. This is not financial or trading advice. This is just something that I am observing in the real world. So I am looking for that, and I do think that there might be a chance that this could be really gearing up and getting ready to fly. So the last time CKB ran up, we can see that this thing cleared 476%. So let's say that we have an equal excitement to what we had back in this run-up and an equal amount of liquidity that could flow back into CKB. You know, this thing could be headed to about 18 cents. So that would be a beautiful thing if that happened for the holders of CKB. But we must always just play it by ear, have a plan, have a profit plan. Say at this point, I'm going to liquidate half my portfolio. If it goes higher, I'm going to liquidate this much. If it goes lower than that point, I'm going to liquidate this much. It's always good to have some sort of trading plan, and you're never going to be happy at the end of the day with the profits that you took, because likely what'll happen is things go higher and you just kind of look in hindsight and kick yourself for it. So with that said, I do think that 18 cents is possible. And if we really run up in a grand scheme of things, maybe this 20-cent mark could be possible as well. So I don't know, folks. It's looking good. I'm thinking a conservative price tag, right around this 8 to 10 cent level. possibly by the end of the year, maybe into early next year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on CKB. Big shout out to all the Patreons for the support. I love you all. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, it's $3 a month. Get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner, and we'll see you guys all on the next video.